Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Prime Sports World. I was having something weird on my end, so I apologize for that. But yeah, this is Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down week number 18 of the National Football League. If you like what we're doing here at Prime Sports World, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm of course your host, David On Point Hope, and my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And then, of course, from the Daily Blitz Stop blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. And I want to preface this by saying we're only going to talk about the Week 18 games that actually mattered on Sunday/Saturday. I'm sorry if you were a Cleveland Browns fan, Cincinnati Bengals fan, Kansas City Chiefs fan, Las Vegas Raiders fan, Packers fan, or Vikings fan. We are not going to talk about those games here today. We're going to talk about the games that actually had playoff implications when it comes to what's going to happen in the future of this. But yeah, I'm David On Point Huppin. How you gentlemen doing? Happy Monday. I'm not sure exactly what was going on with my internet on my end. Like the countdown never started on my end, so I never saw the graphic change. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, TJ's back. You know, you just bad juju.
I don't know about all that, but hey, happy Monday, gentlemen. How was everybody's weekend?
It was all right.
Fitting. You know, you wish for a better result on Sunday, but it is what it is. You know, that type of shit. No, it was all right.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about week number 18. A bunch of teams are still playing with something on the line. Some of them came up short. Some of them rose to the occasion. First, starting in the NFC South, where we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Carolina Panthers. But as you'll find out later, it still was not enough for them to make the playoffs, as the Carolina Panthers, while they lost this game, will win the NFC South. And I'm not sure how any of those tiebreakers work between them, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Atlanta Falcons, who all finished with the same record. I'm not going to pretend I know how those work. But Carolina got kind of like not great officiating in this game. It seems to be the theme for majority of this season. But Bryce Young, 24 of 35, 2 touchdowns and a pick. They didn't really run the ball very effectively this game at all. 14 for carries for 19 yards. If you're not a mathematician, that's 1.4 yards per carry. Jalen Coker and Tony Tremble both had touchdowns for Carolina, but not much better on the other side, as Baker Mayfield did throw a touchdown. He threw an interception, but this team did have 140 yards rushing in this game, including 85 for Bucky Irving, and Cade Otton caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in case you were wondering, Mike Evans did not get 600 yards receiving in this game, so he did not get to the 1,000-point plateau. So that streak is now snapped. I think it was 13 seasons in a row. Mike Evans, 1,000 yards. You can basically guarantee it. But with the collarbone injury and some other injuries, just tough season for Mike Evans, as they failed to make the playoffs. And as of the time of this recording, they still have their head coach.
Yeah, like the study of
Excuse me.
like what happened to the Buccaneers, this really needs to be looked at, because you're thinking they'd be one of those teams that were playing this weekend, and the fact that they went from 5-1 or 6-2 to missing the playoffs that's asinine. If you ask me, like TJ and I talk about it all the time. And, I know we both sprinkle in that it's been injuries, but there's some soul searching that needs to be done. If you ask me, I mean, I knew they weren't going to get rid of Todd, because, okay, you get rid of him, then who do you bring in to replace him? That's the one thing you always have to factor into consideration every time you want to coach on the chopping block.
Yes, I get your point, but I think that I probably would have made a move at the head coaching position. There's no way you can crumble down the stretch like this, and I just don't think you should be able to keep your job, especially since this team is, although they have been pretty good under Todd Bowles. But I don't know.
Well, that's why he's keeping his job, bro. Like again, you can only do so much when your best receiver goes down, your second best receiver goes down. You're lucky Emeka Egbuka. I mean, not Emeka
And
Egbuka.
I mean, the guy who was your number 2 last season, Jalen McMillan, had a near career-ending injury in the preseason, and he hasn't come. He just now is coming back.
Like it was a revolving door at running back. Your defense had injuries. Like you can only do so much when and it's not like they lost these dudes. I mean, like they lost them gradually while others were still out. So Mike Evans goes down, and then while he's out, Chris Godwin goes down, and it's like, okay, now I'm without my top 2 guys. Then Rashad White goes out, and it's like, damn, now I'm out my top 2 receivers and one of my premier backs. So, and this is all season. So yeah, 5-1 becomes 5-2, 5-3, 6-3, and then it's like, all right, well, like Baker gets hurt, like that was the real kicker. Like he still played, but you can definitely tell he wasn't the Baker that he has been since he's been there. And like yeah, so like they needed some help. They needed some help come Sunday, and it sucks because they didn't get the help.
Yeah.
It just
Tyler Shook and the New Orleans Saints just come up a little bit short. But yeah, I mean, tough. I mean, Carolina yet to continue playing. But for Tampa Bay, I mean, it's kind of stings a little bit. You win this game, you think you're going to be able to make the playoffs, and just not the case. As Carolina will be dancing next weekend. Moving on from there, as the battle for the number 1 seed, not only in the NFC West, but the entire NFC went down in Levi Stadium. And Izzy said that this was kind of BTA, but I mean, yeah, it basically was. Seattle Seahawks scored a touchdown in the first quarter and never looked back in this game as a wire-to-wire
kind of BTA.
Yeah. I mean, wire-to-wire victory for the Seattle Seahawks. They win 13-3. This offense for the San Francisco 49ers could just never get this going, could never get like mount drives together. And then they had a back-breaking interception off the hands of Chris McCaffrey. Not a great throw by Brock Purdy, but one you got to have if you're going to have Chris McCaffrey. You got to catch that. Sam Darnold, 20 of 26, 198 yards, very efficient. But they had 180 yards rushing in this game, including 97 from Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet had the only touchdown in this game. 180 yards for the Seattle Seahawks in the rushing game. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 84 yards. On the other side, Juwan Jennings, 35. Chris McCaffrey, 23. Brock Purdy threw that one interception that I talked about earlier late in the fourth quarter that really sealed this game for Seattle, as they will be the number 1 seed and they will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So everything's going to be going through Lumen Field.
Yeah, TJ, you want to go first?
Yeah, this was a different BTA. Like this, like normally when people say BTA, belt to ass, for those that don't know what BTA stands for, it's a blowout, right? Like you anticipating, like a 30 to whatever, like what the Patriots did to the Dolphins at 38-10, like that. That's BTA. That's a BTA example. Or 41-7. That's BTA. 35-8. BTA. This was BTA on the sense of whatever the Niners tried to do, they couldn't do. Like whatever they tried to do, they just couldn't do. So like it's really a contrast in weeks for both the Niners and the Bears, where last week offenses had free will, right? They timed Brock Purdy's pocket presence a week ago. He had all day to throw last week against the Bears. He called his mama. He called his girl. He paid the mortgage before he completed the pass. This week, none of that shit was happening. He was off his spot more times than I could count. and it showed. And kudos to Sam Darnold for killing quote unquote one of the monkeys off his back, because one of the narratives about him going into the season was like he can't, based off of last season, he couldn't win the big one. Like he was in a similar situation last year with the Vikings. Like all you had to do is beat Detroit and you're the 1 seed. And he they got their ass kicked in that game. Then you have a playoff game and then you get your ass kicked again. So this is step one. This is step one. You beat the Niners, you win the division, and you the 1 seed in the throughout the NFC. So this is monkey number one. Christian.
Yeah. Well done, Seattle. I mean, well done. Like the former defender in me just smiled from the left end to the right end, because everything they did was just beautifully timed. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. You know what this game kind of reminded me of? Let's take it back. 3 years ago now, Christmas Day, 2025, Ravens and 49ers. Guess who the defensive coordinator was for the Baltimore Ravens that day? Mike McDonald. Let's fast forward to Saturday. Same type of, not minus the 5 interceptions, but just swarming to the football, collapsing Brock Purdy's pocket. And I told TJ, like, the two main keys for Seattle in this game were to A, limit Christian McCaffrey, B, limit George Kittle, but most importantly, whenever a 49ers skill player caught the ball, take them down immediately, because this offense thrives off yards after the catch. And the minute the ball hit a 49er player in the hands, they're down right away. The Seahawks can get home with 4. Look at how those linebackers were playing in the middle. And then TJ, remember, I even mentioned to you during the game, watch Julian Love, a guy that can play in the box, a guy that can play outside, a guy who can defend tight ends, a guy that can pick up slot receivers, pick up those running backs in space, in the flat, can come on a safety blitz. So, this to me was Seattle's best performance. And word to my co-analyst, Cole Johnson, he said Seattle put a beating on them, in the words of Lionel Richie, all night long, baby.
Yeah, it was a tough day at the office for the San Francisco 49ers. Also, Nick Imanowari, I think that's how you kid from South Carolina. Man, that dude himself had himself a game in this.
David, there's two things I gotta touch on. Remember, I said this to you last week when we did the preview show. You know, I thought San Francisco was under more pressure to win this game, just due to the simple fact, okay, you can clinch the 1 seed, you make it all the way to the Super Bowl, you never have to leave home. Yeah. But unfortunately, things didn't pan out that way. But what was the other thing I told you? And I said this to TJ during the game as well. What happened to Sam Darnold last year, he's better for it now, because he has that year of experience under his belt. He just looked a lot more cool, calm, collected, because last year he pressed. Never been in this situation. Now he's been in this situation. Seattle got the running game going. They just kind of needed him to control things. They didn't need him to take the game over, hand the ball off, keep us in prime field position, but most importantly, don't turn the ball over and don't lose us the football game.
I mean, he only threw 6 completions in this game. He was incredibly efficient in this particular game. So from there to the game that decided the NFC South, with the Atlanta Falcons beating the New Orleans Saints at Mercedes-Benz Dome there in Atlanta. Tyler Shook and the New Orleans Saints tried a furious comeback here late, but it was just too late, too late. Tyler Shook, 23 of 35, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Tyler Shook also had a rushing touchdown in this game. And Ronnie Bell had a beautiful touchdown, one-handed snag for the New Orleans Saints. On the other side, Kirk Cousins, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Bijan Robinson, 15 for 35. Drake London had the lone receiving touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons as they play spoilers for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they allow the Carolina Panthers to walk or crawl into the playoffs as they lost 2 games in a row and still going to go to the playoffs here down the stretch here. Just crazy stuff.
Yeah, give the Saints some credit because they were playing pretty well, and these division games are always tough. Atlanta did what they had to do, and then they ended up cleaning house. after the fact. I mean, Raheem Morris ends up getting fired. So did the GM. Man, I read today that a former Falcon is very close to becoming like the next general manager of the team in Matt Ryan. But neither one of these teams are going anywhere. But I think the Saints, their future is somewhat bright. Like Tyler Shuck isn't a bad quarterback. Everybody just wants to say he's bad because everybody likes to ride a wave these days. You know what I'm saying? They see one person saying it, then they're gonna jump in. But the funny thing is, they probably never even saw Tyler play. Yeah, Atlanta back to the drawing board, back in his position. I personally felt they should have gave Raheem Morris one more season. That's just me.
I wasn't surprised when I heard that.
I wasn't surprised, but
I didn't think they'd fire him that fast. But like I figured they'd wait till Monday to fire him. They didn't even give that.
TJ, he got the Gerard Mayo treatment.
I mean, Atlanta had expectations each of the 3 seasons that he was there, or 2 seasons, whatever it was, and they just haven't lived up to those expectations. And when that happens, when they put a lot of money in this roster, a lot of money into this, you think you're going to have a competitive team. You miss the playoff both seasons. Unfortunately, that falls onto the GM. That falls on the head coach, especially the GM. I mean, you go out and you sign Kirk Cousins, and you have glaring needs of like an edge rusher. Even though James Pierce this season has been really good for the Falcons and a kind of wide open rookie defensive player of the year. You just underachieve. You don't draft an edge rusher. You take another quarterback right after you paid Kirk Cousins. Just some head scratching just consider the DM position. Unfortunately, that trickled down, fell into the head coach. He gets fired because of it.
Well, yeah, the year 1 you sign Kirk Cousins, then you go behind that and draft Michael Penix as a clear succession. You kind of thrust Michael Penix into the fold earlier than you wanted to because Kirk Cousins fell off a cliff in like the worst way possible that first year. I wholeheartedly think the plan wasn't to play Michael Penix at all in year 1. I hate that plan because just because it worked in one setting doesn't mean it's going to work in your setting. Like everybody wants to follow the Kansas City Chiefs setting, like, hey, you're going to sit for a year and we're going to throw you in there. Like, no. Or the Green Bay model, like you're going to sit for a couple years and then you're going to come in and like, no. If you draft a dude in the first round, unless the guy that you got at quarterback is like that, well, to the point where you can afford to sit him, then sit him. Like Green Bay drafting Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron fucking Rodgers. Right? I mean, you can afford
Brett Favre. You draft Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre was still Brett fucking Favre.
Like you can afford to sit the young dude as long as they did. But if you Kansas City, you had Alex Smith, you draft Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes was there, but it's like, all right, you need to fine-tune some things. We're going to spend this year working on those things, and then next year, hey, it's all you. There was nothing about Atlanta's situation where they'd be like, hey, well, Kirk, it's on you. Then Michael Penix was like, no, either play him or don't. Either because based off what Kirk Cousins gave you, you was better off riding with the young gun. Now this, like, you won this game, you went 8-9, you finished in a 3-way tie, and to David's point, I have no idea how that shit worked. Like 3 teams was 8-9, and the Carolina Panthers is somehow the division winner and going to the playoffs. I have no idea how that's working. None whatsoever.
I mean, I think Atlanta has a better record in the I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I literally have no idea. They have the exact same division record. Atlanta has the better record in the conference, which I would assume would be the next tiebreaker.
Something tells me that Atlanta had to be eliminated they obviously had to get eliminated well before this point for this shit to even be a conversation, right?
Yeah, I literally have no idea like what the tiebreaker is, like what it was. So you got me.
they got us because I'm not understanding this shit. Like if I'm a Falcons fan right now, like I'm questioning everything. I'm like, yo, bro, like how the hell we 8-9 and we not in this?
Yeah, and they had a better record in conference. So I literally have no idea. Moving on from there to the AFC South. Also, this is the late afternoon window. The Jacksonville Jaguars firmly stamped, hey, we're here and we're good. They beat down Tennessee after Cam Ward unfortunately got injured on the first drive of the game, or near the first drive. He had a rushing touchdown. He gets hurt on that play. Does not come back in this game. Brandon Allen gets pushed into the quarterback role. He wasn't good at all in this game. One pick, 17 of 30. I think he threw a pick 6, if my memory has me correct. Tony Pollard, 14 of 48. Cam Ward rushing touchdown. Alec Ayomaner has a really solid rookie season. Both these wide receivers, is Cameron DK. Both those guys are nice little pieces at the wide receiver position for Tennessee moving forward. On the other side, Trevor Lawrence, super efficient, 22 of 30, 255 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some legit MVP votes, how good he's been this season. Travis Etienne, 14 of 32. Parker Washington, 5 of 87 and a touchdown. Brenton Strange also had a touchdown, as Jacksonville's quietly been cruising over the last month or so. They were able to rest their starters basically the entire second half of this game, as it was basically no doubt at halftime.
It's about time. If you're a Jags fan, or if you're a Trevor Lawrence fan, or if you've been following us the whole time, you know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence. It's nothing personal against Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is a hell of a player. I think Trevor Lawrence got crowned too fucking early. And when you get crowned too early, you gonna crash. And it's gonna be ugly. And the praise you get on the rise up ain't nothing to the vitriol you get on the way down. Like it's not even close. So for Trevor Lawrence to bounce back and have this type of season, well, first off, shout out to the Jags organization, because they could have easily said, you know, Trevor's not it. We're gonna go elsewhere. We're gonna look for another savior, and so on and so forth. Because we've seen teams do it. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, they had the second overall pick in this upcoming draft. They easily could have taken, or they had an early pick in this coming draft. They could have easily
took a different court. Like we've seen it, right? We've seen teams do it. They can't, this is that coaches, this is why Liam Cohen is going to be a finalist for Coach of the Year.
Should be.
Like, you go in, you set a tone, like, hey, we ain't playing no games, handle business, starters, y'all gonna be done by half. Handle business.
And just so everybody's aware, Cam Little is him. Like, that dude has a rocket for a leg.
I'm with Christian. That nigga finna get drug tested. He finna get drug tested.
He kicked that 67-yarder, man. It cleared by a lot. Like, it was an absolute rocket shot. Christian.
Drug tested, but no, you gotta give Jacksonville a lot of credit. I'll admit to you, I really didn't know what to expect from what Liam Cohen was gonna bring to the table, but he turned them into a balanced offense. I personally think they relied a little too much on Trevor Lawrence. And look, this year is the best I've seen Trevor look as a pro. He was in control. And you hadn't seen that since his days at Clemson. And, Tennessee, the only thing I remember is the Titans, pun intended.
Moving on from there, but staying in the AFC South, the Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts, as they had to come back in this game, as Riley Leonard showed himself out in his first NFL start. The Texans, they get one of those late game touchdowns that didn't really matter, but it was a big man touchdown, and we love big man touchdowns here at Prime Sports World. Houston Texans win 38-30. Riley Leonard had a good showing in the final game of the season against the number one defense. And as Izzy said, yeah, they played their starters all the way up through the third quarter. They must have gotten wind that the Jacksonville Jaguars game was an absolute beatdown. So then they pulled CJ Stroud. They started pulling all their starters, but while they were playing their starters, man, Riley Leonard was balling. 21 of 34, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Riley Leonard also had a rushing touchdown in this game. Alec Pierce, 4 for 132, and he got thrown out on some bullshit in the absolute bullshit. He had 2 touchdowns in this game. I'm sorry. They threw a flag on him talking he was made contact with the referee. He never touched him. Like, I don't understand that. Like, there's got to be some discretion there. Yes, it probably was like unnecessary roughness. He was like in the referee's face, but he never made contact with him. You can watch the replay over and over again. He never touches him. The fact that Alec Pierce, who was having a career game, got thrown out on some bullshit like that is ridiculous. On the other side, CJ Stroud, 1 touchdown, no picks. Davis Mills came in and was able to lead them to the victory. British Brooks, who I've never heard of, had the most rushing yards for this team, and CJ Stroud had a rushing touchdown. And no Nico Collins, he was a healthy scratch in this game. And Jaden Higgins, one of the Iowa State boys, there for the Houston Texans, had the lone receiving touchdown as they go on to win. And Tommy Tuega is the guy who caught that big man touchdown for the Houston Texans to ice this game away.
Yeah, so like I was saying in the group chat, like I know Riley Leonard was battling the knee injury. That's why they had to bring in Phillip Rivers. But if he was healthy or healthy enough at any point after that first game, and they went with Phillip Rivers instead of him, then Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen need to fucking go. Because I'm not finna sit here and act like that. Like, you can't sit here and say that the division wasn't still there for the taking for them. Like, they still could have won this division. You went from 7-1 to fucking out of the playoffs to gone. That first off, David, I'm surprised you ain't say that. Like, that's fireable. That's a fireable fucking defense right there.
I think the difference there is that you lose your quarterback. Like, in
ain't no
difference. There's for sure a difference. Even though they were already going into a tailspin even before he got hurt, but
you mean to tell me you start off at 7-1, you can't win 3 games? You can't win like 7-1. That's 8 games. That's 8 games right there. That's 8. That's 8 games.
Let's also not forget, like, their downfall also came at the time that the other 2 teams in their own division were surging. Like, they're just not as good as the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Houston Texans, regardless of who the quarterback is.
All they had to do was win 3 more games. That's all they had to do. Win 4 more games. So, like, the fact that Shane Steichen is keeping his job, to me, like, once again, if Riley Leonard was healthy enough to play and you still went with Phillip Rivers over him,
let's also like, it's not like they played like a ridiculous schedule down the stretch. I mean, not to make quote unquote excuses here, but like
making excuses.
In the 7 games that they lost, like in the final stretch where they were 1-8 or whatever this is. They played the Steelers playoff team. Obviously, lost to Kansas City when they still had some hope. And then the Texans playoff team, Jaguars playoff team, Seahawks playoff team, 49ers playoff team, Jaguars playoff team, Texans playoff team. They were probably going to lose all of those games, even with Daniel Jones, maybe. Like,
you can't say that though,
because we'll never know.
Yeah,
because
obviously
when they were 7-1, didn't they like? Did they play any of those playoff teams at the beginning of the season?
I mean, they played Denver. They played the Rams, which was a game that they lost.
They played the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean,
like, so yeah. Again, I'm sorry. We've seen coaches fired for less, is what I'm saying.
I'm sitting here and agree with you, but I think because of the quarterback situation, I think they gave him some.
I don't care, bro.
And let's also remember that, like, there's an ownership change there in Indianapolis. So, like, if this is Jim Irsay still alive, making these decisions, yeah, he's probably fired. But the fact that he's no longer in the building,
you're 7-1. You're 7-1. You win 3 games. You're bare minimum a wild card team. You're 7-1. To go from 7-1 to out the playoffs, I don't care what your situation is. That's fireable. You should not have a job.
I'm also pretty surprised that Chris Ballard is continuing to be the GM of this football team because I think he's been kind of trash.
You shouldn't have a job if you like anybody. Come on, man. Come on. Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
Christian, you got any thoughts on this game before we move on?
No, it is what it is. Like you said, what it is. Like, hey, Houston thought they had a shot. They got wind that Jacksonville was putting belt to ass. And they said, well, we know our fate. we know what it is. So hey, let's pull anybody before something catastrophic happen, and we gonna ride that wave. We going into the
Jacksonville's up by 30. Let's not only is Jacksonville up by 30, but Brandon Allen's taking snaps under center.
I despise teams that like, oh, we're not gonna have the score board. We're not gonna have the score of a game we need up in the arena to no, fuck that. I want to know. And we gonna get to that at a later game. But go ahead.
Moving on from there, we got the Buffalo Bills, who I think they just locked in their playoff seed. I don't really remember what their situation is. I think they may be the 7th seed now, or 6th seed, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow. But they cruise to the absolute beatdown of the New York Jets. Brady Cook, 1 touchdown in this game. Khalil Herbert dusted him off for the running back position, 12 of 42. And Andrew Beck, who I've never heard of, caught the lone receiving touchdown for
you know who Jets. His dad is.
Do I?
Yeah, Anthony Beck, UFL coach, Battlehawks.
Oh shit! All right, yeah, that's all right. I didn't. Usually when I try to say people are related, you get all on me about it.
Well, from there, when it's a last name like that, that's when you just look up and be like, oh, okay, cool.
Moving on from there, Mitchell Trubisky. Obviously, Josh Allen got the start, played 1 snap, handed it off to James Cook, and that's all she wrote for Josh Allen. Mitchell Trubisky, 22 of 29, 259 yards and 4 touchdowns. May have had his best game as a pro. Only half kidding.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Ty Johnson had one rushing touchdown. Gabe Davis had a crazy touchdown in this game. If you have not seen it, it is an absolute masterclass. Dawson Knox, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson all had receiving touchdowns as Buffalo cruises 35-8. I probably didn't even need to put this game on the graphic.
No, just a quick question. Do y'all have an issue with the taking a 1 snap and
no,
being done? You don't have an issue with that, Christian? You got an issue with that?
Nah, not at all.
No. Okay. Nah. I mean, I don't either. I'm just seeing. It's not a lot. It's just a small little discourse about like people saying oh, you shouldn't get a snap to play to get qualified as a starter. You should play a drive. Or I'm like, that's stupid.
We're just splitting it. We're just splitting hairs.
Right, split hairs.
What's the difference if he takes 1 snap? He plays 1 drive. I mean, what does it matter? I can't. Come on. People out there, just have something better with your time. You'll have there's some crafts you could do. There's some other stuff you can do with your life. Just getting all bent out of shape about shit like that is just not worth it. Come on,
right? That's what we're doing. We're throwing the fit because he took a snap, handed the ball off, and before the play was even fucking over, he's walking to the sideline yeah, I'm done.
I think. People just get a hobby, do something, learn to play guitar. You'll have some. Kristen, you got any thoughts, real quick?
I mean, the Jets are just. I don't even have the words. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you always want to make, history. I mean, there's positive history and negative history. You don't want to make negative history, to go an entire season
without recording an interception.
In the 100 and what we at 506 year history of the NFL, you are the first team to go a full season without recording an interception.
Do you know? Listen. Sorry to interrupt you, TJ.
No,
but
go ahead.
Do you know how much you have to suck?
Do you know how bad you have to be?
How bad you gotta be
You think
you couldn't record not one? Really?
You think you get a pick just on accident? Like
David, like we watched the Bears all year. How many times did we see deflections turn into interceptions?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me
A lot.
nobody could deflect a pass and y'all could get to it fast enough to pick it off or hold on to it long enough to like that's sad. And it's 6:22 p.m. Central Time, and Aaron Glenn still has a job. Which
he's not going to get fired. I would. That would be.
I hope not. I mean, like personally, I would hope not because like it is what it is what it is. Like I think they know like hey, like this is just not a good team. It's just not it's just not a good team, and no matter who we bring in next year, it's still not going to be a good team. So like you're putting you put lipstick on the pig, thinking a different shade will make it better, and it's just like no, that's just not gonna it's not gonna fucking work. You got to rebuild this team from the top down, and hopefully with the picks from the Cowboys, you can and the Colts. You can do that. You can start. You got to start somewhere.
Moving on from there, but swinging into the NFC North as the Chicago Bears fall to the Detroit Lions. And Detroit, you got to be really kicking yourself right now. If you had beaten Minnesota on Christmas Day, you would be in the playoffs today as the Green Bay Packers lost both of their games down the stretch. Could have been a playoff team because of just you're getting in your own way. You're going to be watching the playoffs at home. They win the game 19-16. Chicago Bears really didn't show up in this game until the fourth quarter, which cannot be the recipe, as we see a lot of this with the Chicago Bears, where they just kind of ho-hum through the first half, and then in the second half they're like, "Oh, well, maybe we should play some football."
And I always say it catches up to you. Like eventually it does, because you can't teeter-totter along, kind of like alluding to what David was saying. You can't teeter-totter along thinking that you can just snap your finger and get yourself back in the football game. No, they paid for it yesterday. And me personally, I think this is, I don't want to say a wake-up call, but I think this happened I think this happened at the right time, TJ. Because sometimes you need that little boost as the playoffs come, because you do this shit in the playoffs, you going home. Like there's no next week. You got 8 long months to think about this.
And I think that one, over the last 3 games, I know the Niners. So you got the Packers. It was Packers, Niners, Lions, right? Those were our last 3 games, David. Right? Packers, Lions,
yes.
Packers. Over those
Packers,
3,
Niners, Lions.
Lions. Those 3 games, the defense has given up over 1,300 yards across 3 games. We know the defense has been an issue most of the season. It's been a big bend but don't break all season, and it got to a point yesterday where Amon-Ra St. Brown had more yards than the whole offense. And it was at a point yesterday where the team that wasn't making the playoffs looked like the playoff team. And the team that was going to the playoffs was very ho-hum about it. Like they looked disinterested. You had folks out there making business decisions. It looked like it just wasn't a good showing. And like you said, like for you to wait until the late third, fourth quarter to finally get an offensive drive together that resulted in points, and to not just that, just tie the game up, thinking like, hey, we just got to get one stop and we get the ball back, and hope lo and behold, you low key did that, but what happens? Luther Burden, wide open on the slant, drops it. That drop killed everything, and then after that, Caleb gets a intentional grounding. Then you punt the ball back. Then they walk down the field, kick the field goal, win the game. You can't, like you say, you can't keep waiting. You can't keep, because you're playing a team on Saturday who's been there before. They've been to the playoffs.
And they're not afraid to go on the road. I mean, they beat the
And they're
Dallas
not
Cowboys.
afraid to go on. And they're not afraid to go on the road.
Was last 2 years ago where they beat the Dallas Cowboys in that crazy game.
Yeah.
I mean, last year they were the youngest team to make the playoffs. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine in Green Bay.
So like you go to like and say you win Saturday. Whoever you play after that has been there before. You the young play. So like when, and I know he's not here to defend himself, but when you got a team like, when you got a fan like Matt, who all in the group chat talking about some fuck the Packers, shut up. We have not earned the right to talk shit like that. We haven't. Like our winning seasons have come few and far in between for us to be running our mouths. Like stop it. Like don't shit talk nobody. You win the game, talk all the shit you want.
100%. Yeah, it's just a tough outing for the Chicago Bears as they fall to the Lions at home.
Yeah, defensive like offense. I'm not. I mean, like outside of yesterday, like yesterday was probably one of like outside like the first like month of the season, first 2 games of the season. The offense, like that was probably the worst the offense has looked. I am wholeheartedly more concerned. Like, hey, the defense got to have a come to Jesus. They got to talk. They got to have a whole. They got to take this shit personally. Because right now, the book is out. You run some crossers. If you can catch them, like if you catch the ball on the crossing route, you're gonna get some yards and you're gonna gash them and you're gonna have a good day.
We're lucky that not every team in the NFC is going to have a Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Jameson Williams at their wide receiver positions. I mean, those two guys are special.
The team we playing on Saturday got a Jaden Reed and a Christian Watson.
Yeah, but those guys aren't on the same level as.
Did you? Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
Anyways, moving on from there, we're going to swing into the AFC West with the Denver Broncos locked up the number 1 seed by beating the shorthanded Chargers 19-3. Trey Lance, just not a great day at the office for Trey Lance. Really had an opportunity to put some good film on out there against a defense that was going to be starting all their starters, because they really needed to get this victory. Just not a good day at the office for Trey Lance. 20 of 44, 136 yards and a pick. You also had he was the leading rusher for this team as well. With that being said, I know like the Chargers didn't have most of their starters in, so no Quentin Johnson, no Ladd McConkey. They still had Keenan Allen, who got 7 for 36. On the other side, Denver, 14 of 23, 8 for 49, and then Evan Ingram, 3 for 45. How did they score in this game? Because I did not get a chance to watch this one.
I think they flipped.
They got a pick 6 in the first half, and then I guess they just got field goals because Will Lutz did kick 4 field goals in this game, so he was 4-4 and an extra point. So that's how they won the game. Christian,
damn.
I mean, what more really needs to be said? This was to me, this was just the final tune-up for the Broncos, and now look, they have the 1 seed in the AFC. The road to Super Bowl 60 travels through Denver in the AFC, and the last time Denver was the 1 seed, they made it to the Super Bowl and won it.
Moving on. The Los Angeles Rams bounced back after that performance against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons this most recent weekend on Monday Night Football, 37-20. As Matthew Stafford, 25 of 40, 259 yards and 4 touchdowns, 60 yards rushing for Kyron Williams. Good to see Tyler Higbee get a touchdown. I think his first one of the season, and that Puka Nacua touchdown is bananas. If you've not seen that, 10 for 76 and a touchdown. And Colby Parkinson, because all he does is catch touchdowns, had 2 of them in this game. On the other side, Jacoby Brissett, he was good. He's probably going to be the starting quarterback for this football team for a period next season. 22 of 31, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Emer DiMercado, 2 for 29. Michael Wilson, 5 for 99 and a touchdown. And Josiah DeGuara, the former Packer tight end, had a touchdown for this Arizona Cardinals team. As Jonathan Gannon was pulling out all the stops, he had a fake punt in this game. Just doing all kinds of stuff as he, was out his swan song.
Like that's what you do when you fight. Like, hey, fuck.
Yeah.
Just
whatever. But yeah, they come up short. Rams get a victory. Now they're the 5 seed in the NFC.
It's funny because we were talking about the Los Angeles Rams, about a month and a half ago, when they were rolling and clicking on all cylinders about this being the best team in the league. And I mean, they cooled down considerably. I mean, I know every team runs into, to that wall,
Some
or
kind of
they,
wall.
yeah, I mean, it's a long season and it's bound to happen. But you could also just see just how important Devontae Adams is to the mix. And I know they're supposed to get him back on Saturday in Charlotte against the Carolina Panthers. As far as Arizona, I mean, they did what I think a lot of us expected them to do today, and that's
What
fire
was that?
Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, fire. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, look, if I'm Marvin Harrison Jr., I'd be wanting to get the hell out of there. TJ, am I wrong?
Let the church say.
Amen.
All right. I ain't gonna spend a lot of time on this one. All I gotta say is, hey, Matthew Stafford, 4707, 46. You heard me right, 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Yeah, if y'all stop fucking playing with that man and give him his MVP.
Yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
I think Drake May has this locked up.
No, he's
Why?
not.
No, he's
Why?
not. Why?
I think he's.
You can't even tell me why.
I don't have a great reason. My gut tells me Drake May is going to win the MVP. So
Like 4707, 46, 8. Bro, like that's like again, stop fucking playing and give that man his MVP.
he's also playing a much more difficult schedule than the Patriots played this season.
Give that man his MVP.
So you pretty much just answered my question. Yeah.
Who do I think is deserving of the MVP? I think it's Matthew Stafford. Who do I
It's
think
still
is
Matthew
the MVP?
Stafford.
It's Drake May.
It's still Matthew Stafford.
I think the quote unquote narrative has spun around Drake May, and he will, because of the way it's being discussed, he will win the MVP, even if he's
Like,
not
should he get some votes? Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if the MVP vote comes down to just a couple votes here and there.
So see, Christian, like, me and Christian, we talk outsiders. First off, me and Christian talk all day, every day. We got a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, we
it's
really
a problem.
do. Yeah, that's probably why I snap on you as much as I do.
See, but anyway, like we know how, like you said, David, that key word that you just said, that narrative. Like you said it, the narrative. Why is it a positive narrative for Drake May?
He's the new shiny toy.
They easy schedule, but it's a negative for Caleb Williams and the Bears. Why is I'm not asking you because you don't have the answer to that. But the national media, why is an easy schedule a positive for Drake May and the Patriots, and not a positive for other teams?
And how do the Bears have an easy schedule when all 4 teams in the NFC North are all over 500?
Well, David, you again, David, you got to hear what they say. You got to read what they say. It's an easy schedule because this team played with backups. This team who they thought was going to be good turned out to not be good, and that's somehow the Bears' fault. But Drake May can literally play the fucking Dolphins twice a year,
and the Jets twice a year,
and just be like, oh, it's just ho hum. He's the MVP. No, get that MVP to Matthew Stafford and stop fucking playing and wasting people's
time. I want to say this because TJ, I told you this after I went to the Patriot Jet game. Yeah, he looked great against the Jets, but that's the Jets.
That's the Jets.
That's the Jets. Or as I call them, the New York Not Yets.
Speaking of, like Aaron Glenn, he's not fired, not yet.
Be respectful. You be respectful. No Aaron Glenn slander. How dare you? No. I'm just
talking about New York. This is what they do. They have a coach for 2 years and they fire him.
I'm just talking. David, would I be me if I wasn't difficult?
So you saying next year Aaron Glenn might get fired?
Probably, if they're not any better, probably. Moving on from there, speaking of Drake May and the New England Patriots, they rout the Miami Dolphins 38-10 as the Pastronaut got some snaps in this game, so good for him. 14 of 18 for Drake May, 191 yards and a touchdown. Quinn Ewers did not have his what was a great game last week against Tampa Bay. Not so good in this one. One touchdown, one pick. Theo Wees Jr. was the lone, had receiving yards. Malik Washington had the lone receiving touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson and Trayvon Henderson both had 2 rushing touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson had like a 56-yard rush that was beautiful. Then Ramondre Stevenson had the lone receiving touchdown as the Patriots cruised to 38-10 victory. And good to see the Pastronaut out there on the football field.
The Pastronaut, Nick, bro, go work for NASA. You do not need this NFL money, bro. Go save the planet. Damn.
You probably make more money as the backup quarterback wherever you're than you will as you work at NASA. I don't know that for sure because I don't work for NASA, but I feel like playing quarterback in the NFL pays better, and you could just do that for a little while and then become an astronaut. Just saying.
Well, not Ramondre Stevenson. God damn it. Trevion Henderson is probably going to should be a finalist for offensive rookie of the year. I know y'all said something about Tyler Shuck earlier, but no. Like, to me, that award is going to come down to Trevion Henderson, Ted McMillan, and I need shit. Colston Loveland might even get some votes. He ain't gonna win it. He might get some votes. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, he's been awesome down the stretch. So,
So this right here, again, this is just a case of, hey, go handle your business. I don't want y'all in this game no longer than need be. The only thing the Patriots were playing for was what, the 1 seed?
So they put the Denver Broncos game and the Jaguar game on at the same time, along with actually I don't remember when the Texans game was on. Or it was in the early window. But yeah, they put all these games on at the same time, so like none of them, so they all had stuff to play for. Because if the Broncos lost, the Patriots would have been the number 1 seed. The Broncos and the Patriots both lost, and the Jags would have been the number 1 seed. And then if the Texans had won and the Jags had lost, the Texans would have just won the AFC South.
So hey, go in, handle business. If you're the Dolphins, you got, at 6:39 Central Time, and Mike McDaniel still has a job. The GM still has a job.
Yeah, I guess I'm wrong. I guess they're not going to clear house there. I just don't get it.
So we kept trying to tell you.
I know. I just didn't believe it because it doesn't make a lick of sense. How are you rationalized giving him another season?
I wholeheartedly think. I think they're gonna move off of Tua before they move off of Mike McDaniel.
That's what I'm saying. I'll tell you what doesn't make a lick of sense is the fact that Zach Taylor still has a job.
I think both. I would have fired both those guys. And I still would fire fucking Todd Bowles too. Like I would be firing a lot of people today if I was like an owner of an NFL team. But breaking news, I am not, which could be more obvious.
I'm like I said, I'm with Christian on Zach Taylor. I think they're gonna. If I'm the Dolphins, I take a long look. And I mean a long look at everything. I'm looking at whatever Quinn Ewers put on tape, the little tape that it is. I'm looking at this incoming draft class, which, let's be honest, it's not much to.
The problem is that they're not going to have a pick that's going to be high enough for them to take a quarterback unless they're going to trade draft capital to move up. And I just don't think that makes a whole lot of sense.
And I'm being honest, the draft capital that you trying to give up for some of these dudes ain't worth it. Like Fernando Mendoza is nice. Like he nice. Shador Sanders had double his passing yards in his last year at Colorado, and wasn't even thought of for any kind of award. That being said, it's some decision making that has to be made down in Miami. Wait, didn't they GM get fired? He got fired, right?
I haven't heard anything.
Somebody got fired. I
TJ,
retweeted it.
all I know
Nah,
is
yeah. Miami's looking for a GM.
TJ, all I know is anytime something happens with Miami, I just hear Brian Flores right now.
Moving on from there into the NFC East, where the Washington Commanders beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who for some reason resting their starters, even though the number 2 seed very much still in play for the Philadelphia Eagles. They lose 24-17. Josh Johnson get probably his final win as a starter in the NFL. I'm sure he'll just be in the NFL still next season, but good to see him play pretty well in this game. 14-22, touchdown and a pick. He also had a rushing touchdown. So did Chris Rodriguez Jr. And then John Bates, not related to Jake Bates, had the lone receiving touchdown for the Washington Commanders. On the other side, Tanner McKee got the start for the Philadelphia Eagles. 1 touchdown, 1 pick for him. Tank Bigsby got the starting running back, 1 touchdown for him. I think they were trying to get Devontae Smith to 1,000 yards.
He did. He got it on a very nice catch. He got 1,000 on a he went up,
and then
Fort
Wayne's own Grant Calcaterra caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Philadelphia Eagles as they fall to the Commanders 24-17. What do you think about the decision with Nick Sirianni with the number 2 seed still in play to bench their starters in this game? Would you?
Sometimes, sorry, CJ. Sometimes,
go ahead.
Look, man, sometimes he just confuses me because there's moments where he looks like he knows what he's doing, and then there's moments where,
like this,
prime example, where like it just looks like, oh, okay, like this is what we doing, cool. Like, nah, if you have a chance to go for a higher seed, damn it, you go for the higher seed. But I also look at it from the other side too. I understand you play your starters, a guy gets hurt, and he's out next week. So maybe that's what he was trying to avoid.
I can't let that go. I can't let that. I didn't get.
I mean, the conversation is pretty simple, right? I mean, who would you rather play in the first round of the playoffs? A Packers team that hasn't been good in a month, or the 49ers/Rams? I think that conversation is pretty simple.
Pretty simple. And not just the Packers,
and not to mention the Chicago Bears going up against Detroit, a team that we've basically struggled with for the last 3 seasons.
Like you got not just that, it's a Packers team that you've bullied.
Yeah. I mean,
like it's a Packers team that you have handled, right? Like. I didn't get his name, and I wish I saved the clip. And I'm like really angry at myself because every time I see shit like this, I'll be wanting to show it to y'all, and it just escapes my mind to like, hey, somehow save this and send it to y'all. He's a Philadelphia. He's a news anchor. He works for. He works in Philly, and he basically eluded word for word everything that Christian said. He said like, hey, maybe because he's a 2-time Super Bowl head coach, winning like he has what? No, he's won.
He's got one.
Because
what is it? Doug Peterson was the coach.
Doug Peterson has the other one. So he's been to the Super Bowl twice. He's won one. Maybe because he's done that, like he gets a pass with some of his decision making. But then he brought up the fact that you had a shot at the number 2 seed against an easier opponent, and you rest the starters.
The Green Bay Packers have not beat the Philadelphia Eagles since 2020, and Aaron Rodgers, breaking news, isn't walking through that door.
That's 6 years. That's coming up. You haven't beaten them. Like this is a team. Like so, when I say you,
it's just 5 years, but still.
Like 5 years, whatever. You haven't beat that's still a long time to not lose to not beat somebody.
4 straight victories for the Philadelphia Eagles, including 3 of them in the last year and a half.
Like you handled them, bro. And you decided to. I don't get it, bro. This is a coaching decision that's if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm asking questions like, yo, what the hell is the thought process behind this?
And
I don't get it.
On the other swing, the Bears have lost 7 of 8 games against the Detroit Lions going back the last 3 seasons.
So it's like
they have our number.
I dead ass think the last quarterback we had to beat Detroit was Mitch. I'm not even fucking joking.
No, we beat him in 2023, but I don't remember who the quarterback was.
That one Mitch? It's probably was it Justin? Was it Justin?
Yeah.
Like that's like yo. So like if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm calling Nick Sirianni like, bro, what was the decision behind that? Because if you say you lose, say New Orleans, say San Fran come into Philly, and that offense put up points and you lose, what's gonna be the conversation? What's gonna be the conversation?
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the main events. The Baltimore Ravens going into Pittsburgh and losing because Tyler Luke missed that field goal. God, it heartbreaks for him. He's 20 years old, pretty young kid, but yeah, missed that field goal that could have decided the game. Right after Chris Boswell missed that extra point that only put the Steelers up 2. So like just some kicking gas towards the end of this game. Steelers 26-24.
Fix the score.
What does it say?
You say it says 27-24.
Yeah.
I just called it myself. It's not your fault.
No, it is, but it does not matter. Lamar Jackson, 11 of 18 for 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that 1 interception. Derrick Henry was the king, but he unfortunately didn't have a rushing touchdown, but he did have 126 yards for only 20 carries for Derrick Henry. A little bit interesting. Zay Flowers had a really good game here. So did Montez Walker, 4 for 138, 2 for 46, and 2 touchdowns and 1, respectively, for those 2 guys. On the other side, Aaron Rodgers does just enough to win this game, 31 of 47, 294 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell, Connor Hayward both had rushing touchdowns, and Calvin Austin III had the game-winning touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers as the miracle season for Aaron Rodgers continues, as they will be in the playoffs as the 5 or the 4 seed in the AFC. Christian, talk to me.
This is probably the best game I preview all year long. I mean, these games are the reason why, we love the game. Do not put this on Lamar Jackson, because I know the easy thing to do is to blame the quarterback. But last I checked, the quarterback don't play defense, and he does not kick the ball either. He can only put you in position, and they did everything to win that game until they didn't.
Man, that throw he made to Isaiah Likely was an absolute FDR.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar was doing this all night, and Derrick Henry had how many yards rushing?
126.
On how many carries?
20.
Yeah,
6.3 yards per attempt.
Listen, what do I always say? He has to touch the football 20 to 25 times per game. Like, everything was there for them to win this game. This is a heartbreaking way to end your season. I mean, they're cursed. This is the 3rd straight year that their season has ended on heartbreak. Remember the AFC Championship, rookie Zay Flowers dropping the ball before he crosses the pylon, right? Last year, Mark Andrews dropping the ball in Buffalo for the 2-point conversion, and then you got this. But now this is a gritty win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they got a huge reinforcement back next week in DK Metcalf, and yesterday was probably the best I think I've seen Aaron Rodgers look all year.
I feel like I've heard you say that multiple times this season.
No, but I mean, when you needed him, but see, David, here's the thing: when you needed him to deliver and make a throw, he did it. When his number was called, he did it. He's been in these moments before. I mean, you don't get to 20 years in the league
and not
see some of these moments here and there. But, I just think the reason why I think I've said it as many times as I have is because, I think a lot of people have kind of, I don't want to say wrote him off. I mean, look, we know he's not the guy that he was. He's way past his prime, but to come back.
He's still got that rocket shot of an arm, man.
Right.
We haven't seen arm talent quite like his in a long time.
No, we haven't. And
or ever
I think
again,
when
maybe.
it comes to having a live arm, he's the best ever to do it. from that throwing perspective. But I mean, just the fact that he tore his ACL in 2023 in a later age. I think he was 38 or 39 when that happened. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
same thing.
He tore the Achilles, and you were thinking he was done after that, but nah, like he could probably play. I say 2 more years tops.
And for me, I mean, you got to kind of feel bad for Tyler Loop. I mean, he's a rookie. I mean, he's played pretty well this season. 30 of 34 kicks. He hasn't missed a kick under 40 yards, and the one kick he missed under 50 yards just happened to be the one that ended their season. Just a tough break for Tyler Loop. Kind of got to feel for him. And then Lamar Jackson did everything he could have done to win this game. The result just didn't work out in his favor.
So we obviously we talked about this game in the group chat last night. Izzy said some shit, pissed me off. With the whole, it did. I ain't finna stunt. You probably tell by the way I was talking that that shit pissed me off. Like with the whole Justin Tucker thing. Like no, like the Ravens ain't beat the Ravens and the Bears are not the same situation. Like the Bears chose not to pay Robbie Gould, and Robbie Gould left. Justin Tucker did some creep shit and cost himself.
And then he got suspended 10 games.
And the Ravens did what the Ravens had to do in their best interest and said, yeah, we don't condone that shit, and we're not finna have that on our team because you represent the Baltimore Ravens. Not no more, you don't. Like to the people out there that want to blame Lamar, that want to do no, you can't do that. It's a dude in Christian's Facebook group, he shall remain nameless, that he always points out that game against Buffalo last year where Mark Andrews dropped the ball. He brought out the fact that Lamar fumbled earlier in the game, and my counter to that was like, bro, turnovers are bad, but when you have them, also matter. We not finna sit and act like a turnover in the first quarter is the same as a turnover in the fourth. They're not the same. You can bounce back from the turnover in the first quarter because it's 3 more quarters to play. That turnover in the fourth quarter is way more crucial because the game damn near over unless you go into overtime, right? So if you're if you're the Ravens, Izzy's like they probably kicking themselves for not having Justin Turner. No, they're more kicking themselves for getting off to a 1-5 start. Yeah, they're not 100%. Fucking thinking about Justin Tucker right now.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Loop has been pretty good, but I do feel bad for him though.
You feel bad for him. You feel bad, but hey, you learn from this. Like you learn from this. It is what it is. Everybody and their mama thought that game was over. Everybody, especially when Isaiah Likely caught that pass.
Yeah.
Everybody, I can tell you right now, every Pittsburgh fan thought shit was over. They were like, hey, we finna miss the playoffs. They was getting their storylines ready. If DK Metcalf don't swing on that fan, woo woo. They get to say that shit for at least another week.
And one of the things that really pisses me off about sports fans in general, we just have these stories after Tyler Loop missed that pit kick. We have stories about him and his fiance getting crazy messages on all the social media. Stop that shit. That's fucking ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It's a football game, and Tyler Loop, he will bounce back from this. He's going to be a good kicker. He's already.
I don't know if you guys heard. I'm gonna send it to you guys in the group chat. What Derrick Henry said. I mean, look. Derrick Henry is a veteran now. And, I just think right now, you saw the leadership on full display there. That was a veteran being a savvy veteran. And I mean, everything he said, I agree with him word for word, verbatim. And, if I know there's one guy that's also going to talk to Tyler Loop, it's Mark Andrews. Because you remember, almost a year ago, he was in this same exact position that Tyler is in. So if anybody can relate to him, it's Mark.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from there, let's do as we always do. Oh, yeah, just talk about these other games that really didn't matter for playoff seeding or really anything in general. Browns beat the Bengals 20-18. Vikings beat the Packers 16-3. The Giants beat the Cowboys 34-17. And the Raiders on a Daniel Carlson 60-yard bomb beat the Kansas City Chiefs 14-12. And then let's give out some game balls, gentlemen. I'm going to go first. I'm giving my first game ball to Mitchell Trubisky. Nice to see you get some good tape out there. 22 of 29, 259 yards and 4 tutties. And then I'm also going to give mine out to Josh Johnson. 14 NFL teams got a receiving touchdown or passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in this game as they spoil Sunday for the Philadelphia Eagles and their fans. Kudos to you, Josh Johnson.
Game ball to Myles Garrett for obviously breaking history. To the people who out there like, well, he had 17 games to do it. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. History is history. All right. I don't want to hear nothing about he had an extra game. I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Burrow took a dive.
Everybody else has had the same amount of games and nobody's touched this record.
Nobody's touched this record.
I don't want to hear it.
I do not want to hear it. He got like Joe Burrow, quote unquote, took a dive because the minute the ball was snapped and in his hands, who was in Joe Burrow's face? Myles Garrett. Like the dude is a freak athlete. He's a freak of nature. He is Thanos. He is Thanos incarnate. He is inevitable. God damn it! Like it's him. He's him.
Christian.
Myles Garrett is getting my game ball.
I got two of them. One, I'm giving it to the Seattle defense because they were just absolutely phenomenal the other day. I mean, they just made life so difficult for the for the 49ers offense. Like San Francisco could just never get into their rhythm. And, my second game ball is going to you guys, everybody at the prime, because man, I think this is 5 or 6 years I've been working with you guys now. And it just seems like every year we get better. Like the chemistry just builds, love working with you guys, and I'm ready to take this thing down, and it's playoff time now. So yeah, the shameless plug is gonna wind down a little bit more, but that, and just to everyone who supported and listened to this show. So really, I gave out 3 game balls.
Before we wrap up, let's just take a final look at the playoff bracket. As playoff starts on Saturday, we will have our preview show tomorrow. We're also going to talk about coaching carousel, and we're going to give you our final predictions who's going to be winning major awards in the National Football League. So here we go.
I can't wait for that because I got some shit to say about Kevin Stefanski, and David is not going to like it.
So Denver Broncos, number 1 seed in the AFC, Seattle, and number 1 seed in the NFC. We have the Rams and the Panthers playing in the 4-5. San Francisco and the Eagles playing in the 3-6, and the Bears and the Green Bay Packers playing in the 2-7 on the NFC side. Over on the AFC, Chargers going into Foxborough, taking on the Patriots. The Jaguars in Duval County welcome in the Buffalo Bills, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers will welcome in the feisty defense of the Houston Texans in the 4-5 matchup. We'll get into predictions tomorrow, but of the wild card rounds, which of these matchups are you most interested in? Just if you had to pick one.
Obviously ours and New England and the Chargers. Like I want to see. Like it's like so. Like you got 2 young quarterbacks and Drake May and Caleb Williams. Like this is new. Like you finna see that. Like this ain't just. I know. Players and coaches say all the time, like, hey, it's just another game. No, it's not. It's not just another game. Like, you going to start, like, you going to see.
Ask the Chargers about it being just another game.
Just another game. Like, it's not just another game. Like, hey, you see the refs, they choke on that whistle a little more. Like, they don't call shit like that they would normally call in the regular season. All right? You don't believe me? Kansas City Chiefs, they had the most penalized tackles the last couple years ago, and then they 3 playoff games, they weren't called for a false start nor a hold when they've been called for that shit the whole season. So, and they won the Super Bowl that year.
For me personally, obviously the Bears Packer game. I'm going to go Jaguars Bills. I'm super intrigued by that matchup. Going into Duval County. I can't remember last time the Jacksonville Jaguars hosted a playoff game. I may have been when they played the Chargers a few years ago. It's actually now that I think about it. But Jacksonville Bills, I think that matchup is super fascinating. The Jaguars like to run the football. The Bills kind of struggle in that department. Bills Jags, I think, is a really compelling matchup. Christian.
Yeah, I'm with you, David. I'm looking at Buffalo and Jacksonville. I mean, like the way this Jacksonville team is looking right now, they're balanced. They're playing with a ton of balance offensively. Liam Cohen has made it a point of emphasis to establish Travis Etienne. And most importantly, he's not putting everything on the plate of Trevor Lawrence. And, this Jacksonville defense, they're stingy. Like, they fly around, and they always seem to give Buffalo a problem in Duval County. Buffalo, that was a okay tune-up, I guess. That was a look. That was a preseason game against the Jets. But look, can Buffalo stick to what works for them, which is letting James cook? Like, let this offense travel through him, and don't allow Josh Allen to come out the phone booth trying to be Superman. Because when he does that, he will press. I think this is going to be the most intriguing game of the entire weekend. Can't wait to.
You think you think he pressing over the fact that there's no Patrick, there's no Lamar in the playoffs?
To be honest with you, TJ, he can't even think about that. He just has to focus on what's in front of him. Like, look, whether they're here or whether they're not, we still have a job to do at the end of the day.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of conversation if Josh Allen is not able to win the Super Bowl this season. Like, it's set up perfectly for him.
Hey, I don't like. Not only is there not going to be a lot of conversation about that, there's going to be a lot of conversation if he don't get out of the AFC. I think that conversation is going to be worse. Fuck winning the Super Bowl. We're getting to the Super Bowl.
We will talk about all those matchups tomorrow. And then finally, I know this graphic is fugly as hell, but this is the draft order of the way it works out for the teams not in the playoffs. The Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, Titans, and Giants have the top 5 picks when it comes up to the draft later this year. Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, Titans, and Giants. Of those 5 teams, which do you think this draft is most important for?
See, the problem you got right here, a lot of these teams, the only one I have faith in the only ones I have faith in to do the right shit is Kansas City because they've done it. Detroit
of the top 5, just the
top 5, none of them. I have faith in none of them.
Well, the question is, who is this draft more important for? Of the top 5, I can make the argument. I think I can make the argument.
Top 5.
Christian,
it's all of them.
Me personally, I'm gonna say the Titans, because normally when you draft a quarterback one year, it's all about what you put around him the year after. So you can go in a plethora of different directions. You can get him a running back. You can bolster up that offensive line, or you can get him a weapon that he can throw the football to. So I'll say Tennessee, David.
Thank you for at least giving me a team. That's the 26th draft over. Let me know what you guys think about that.
You want to answer? You real life want to answer? You real life want to answer? Go back. You want to answer? And like, I'm not even trolling. I'm not even trying to be funny. Who's it more important for? That team at 5. You got you got the thing about it. You got the quarterback. At some point next season, you get Malik Neighbors back. You got a nice tight end. His name's escaping me right now.
Theo Johnson.
There you go. And I'm not even going to talk about the individual star power you got on defense. You just need somebody to come in and put all that shit together. Keep building, and so it's really important at number 5. I think that's real talk. I think that's where the draft kick off. We already know. We have a clue what the Raiders going to do at 1. We have a clue. Shit get interesting around number 5. What they gonna do? Where they go?
But we'll talk about we'll do my NFL mock draft stuff as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. But yeah, this has been our 25-26 NFL season, week number 18 recap. This has been Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you like what we're doing here on the Prime. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman, joined, of course, by my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And for the 5th year in a row, the Daily Blitz.blog's own and the talented Christian Simpson. Gentlemen, what we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We go to Mars. No, I'm playing.
We bring the heat.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be back here tomorrow, breaking down a bunch of stuff going on in the National Football League.
Hey, Christian, you want to know something funny? Dave, you want to know something funny? You want to know something? The Raiders are spending $50 million on fired coaches. Antonio Pierce.
Wait, hold on. I got to do it for the first time this year. Wait, hold on.
Hey, David, listen. $8 million to Antonio Pierce, 10 to Josh McDaniels, 10 to John Gruden, 16 to Peter Clay, and 6 to Chip Kelly.
Y'all almost made me get up and do like Mike Irvin did.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all take it easy. Peace out and stay safe out there.